My name is Ishmaheel Hammid, or people usually call me Hammid. Although Hammid is my surname, but people generally call me Hammid. Maybe it's simple to pronounce. So, and I'm currently studying Masters in Communication, Health, and Life Sciences in Wageningen University and Research. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. So it's a pleasure having this with you. So my name is Ishmaheel Hammid, or people usually call me Hammid. Although Hammid is my surname, but people generally call me Hammid. Maybe it's simple to pronounce. So and I'm currently studying Masters in Communication, Health, and Life Sciences in Wageningen University and Research. Yeah, it's a two-year program. In my second year. I'm going to my second year in September. It's almost there. Yeah, I left Nigeria in 2020 during the Corona, and yeah, before leaving Nigeria, I had my bachelor's degree in psychology from Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife. So I'm here. I think that is short about me. Yeah. Southwest, or Sean to be precise. I think basically it's nice to be in a community of people who share the same passion, the same dream with you. So I also started I started my journey with Germany actually. So because I was influenced by one of my mentors. He has been in Germany since 2017. So when I was in college, then when I was in IFE, so especially when I was in 400 level, that was when he traveled. I was influenced by the fact that he went to Germany. So I wanted to also go to Germany. But later on, when I processed Germany in 2018 and it didn't work out, I thought about, focusing on United States, UK, and some other countries like that. And yeah, while I was processing all of those, I realized that it would actually make more sense to consider many options. And the fact that I belong to International Scholarship Forum, so I was able to, get access to different links, to different countries, to different schools all around the world. And I saw varieties. I saw beyond, just United States, just UK. So and I was just like, what if I even gain admission into the US and maybe they don't offer me visa? So I was just trying to shoot my shot to different parts of the world, and then yeah, finally this actually worked out. So I actually applied to many schools. I think I applied to about 26 schools, and then yeah, this finally worked out. So I didn't just want to limit myself to one country because I believe so well that so far it's in Europe. Definitely, it's a developed country, like reasonably developed, more than where I'm coming from. And then, it's just having this mindset of growth. Once you get there, you develop yourself more. You match up with the standard they have there, and if there's a need to learn their language, do it, and that's all. So I was just trying to expand my, like spread my wings and just leave myself out there for several opportunities and not be limited to one to field. So that was what I just had in mind when I applied to the Netherlands. It's actually open to everyone. So there's a website now, ISF. So I'm gonna drop the link. It's free for everyone. So you can join. Your team members can join. We have scholars all around the world. There is literally no country of the world that they don't have people there. So and share information. You can see a website to different scholarships, to different schools, and then that is basically what it's all about. both undergraduates and graduates. So if someone is in 300 level, 400 level, so the person can already start envisaging the future, like, okay, this is where I want to go to. And that even makes it easier because you already know that, okay, as you're in your 400 level or 500 level, as the case may be, final year, so you already know how to create good connection with your lecturers, to start looking for someone who is going to write recommendation letter for you, someone who is going to help you to review your essays and all of those things. And then perhaps some courses that you need to increase your grades so that you can meet up with the requirements of the next level that you're moving to. So I think it's even more important for people that are still in school because they will be well prepared before they even graduate. And then once they graduate, they just migrate to another country. It's going to be easier. When I started the journey in 2018, as I said before, I was inspired by one of my mentors to start thinking of going abroad to study and live in abroad. So I started applying to Germany. I think I applied to 4 schools then in Germany. I got 3 admissions and then just 1 rejection from Germany. And then but then I had issue with getting money into the block account because it was not funded. So I had to get money into the block accounts, or I get German residents. So when that was not possible for me, so I started thinking of, okay, getting some other sources, applying to new schools. So I started applying, and out of 26 schools that I applied to, I gained admission into 16 schools. So, and some gave me partial funding. For instance, in the UK, I got a lot of partial funding, like maybe £5,000, maybe £10,000. But the question is, where am I gonna get the remaining? I can't afford it. My family couldn't afford to, send me to school and pay maybe like £10,000. So they don't really have that kind of money. So I was just there hoping that I would definitely later on get one that would, favor me completely, right? But the journey was actually tough a little bit because even before I started applying to schools, I started with sending cold emails. And what I mean by that is there were some schools in Canada that I checked their departments, and I tried to find some professors that were in line with what I wanted to do, and I sent them emails. Those professors, some of them actually replied me. They said, okay, yeah, that's fine, just apply when the application is open and we may consider your application, right? So but later on, I was challenged with money to pay for GRE and TOEFL during 2020 because I lost a lot of money in investments, and then my job was not working well because the corona was on. There was salary slash. I couldn't get enough pay, so I couldn't afford to write GRE and TOEFL basically to apply heavily to the US and Canada. So, and I was thinking that, well, I didn't know when Corona would end, and I wanted to really leave Nigeria. So I started thinking that, okay, let me just apply, let me spread all around the world. And then, I was able to get 16 scholarship, 16 admissions, and then just 1 fully funded, right? So, and this was actually the last hope for me. So, and when I got it, it was very exciting, and it was actually all of those 16 let me say rejections or all other ones, they were just like, well, it's just normal thing. I think basically people should just try to The first thing is try to subscribe to scholarships platforms. So it's really important. Get scholarship platforms like Scholars Africa, Scholars Hub, Scholars Development. So just subscribe to their newsletters and get updates on when they post new scholarships, right? So, and then be very conscious of application windows, right? So, for instance, if you're planning to go to the US, you know that you should probably start warming up around June, July, because applications are going to open in August, September. So, and then if you're planning to come to Europe as well, you should have an idea that by October they open their window. So I think it's really important. You can just search online generally that, okay, maybe scholarships in the Netherlands, and then you're gonna see a tons of websites, people trying to showcase, different scholarships. So just, click on one and then join their newsletters basically. So you get updates, and yeah, you can also join the website I sent to your DM. Yeah, you can see several links. So the opportunities are really out there. So it's just for people to, it's just like clicks away. Search for the opportunities and you see it. Yeah, there may not be so much discrepancy between Netherlands and other parts of the world. So basically, all these guys that are setting up these personal statement questions, yeah, they have similar skills, kind of. So they know how to really assess your mental strength through your personal statements, and they can actually pick when you are really genuine about everything you're saying, or you're just trying to fake it, because they're professionals. Of course, they've been doing it for years. So what I would just advise is that before anyone would proceed to write personal statements, there should be a self-reflection, right? There should be a self-reflection on who you are, your journey so far in life, right? So, and your journey as a student. So there should be a deep self-reflection. Even if someone cannot write, cannot communicate the ideas very well, the person should be able to jot down, like do deep, thorough self-reflection, like, okay, this is what my journey has been, right? It can even be from when you started your education, the mistakes you've been making, the how you've been able to cope and all of that. So I think after the self-reflection and you look a bit into the future, that okay, this is what you want to do next. So, and you jot all of those things down, you list everything out, it's going to be easy for you to connect the dots with what you want to do. For instance, if you intend to study geography, and then at the master's level, so, and what you study at bachelor is also geography, and you do deep reflection on your journey so far, what interests you, what are your dislikes, how is it related to what you want to study, and all of those things. So I think if you are able to just reflect very well, and more importantly, look into the program you're going to. So the reason why people actually have issues with, personal statements is that perhaps we are always in a hurry to just write it and complete it and make submission, and it doesn't really work that way. So if you are going to submit personal statement to me, for instance, and you are writing it under 1 hour, 2 hours, so I think I may figure out, flaws in everything you've written, because I've read a lot of personal statements and I've got a lot of experience, with people personal statements. So that is me with little or less experience. Now compare it with professionals, like they've been reviewing, personal statements for several years, 20 years, 30 years. Those guys are really experts in what they do. So I think if someone wants to, submit a personal statement, don't just submit it like, okay, I just want to submit it to one of my lecturers. No, be very intentional about it, because you are showing yourself to them. They've not met you, they're just meeting you through your personal statement. So be very intentional about it. And then another thing I should say about this is, don't try to, use the same personal statement for everything, like one size fits all. So maybe you're applying to UK, you use the same personal statement for the program there, and you come here, you use the same thing. The reason why you shouldn't do that is that the way each uh, department or each university, the way they structure their program is usually different. So they may have the similar curriculum, but they may have peculiar differences. So it's important to really study what the program is all about, know courses at each stage in the program, and know how they really structure it, and see where you can fit in. So if you are not able to study that, if you can't do that research to really study it, I don't think one can really write sufficient personal statements. Yeah. So it's really an intentional task, right? So, and for me, it's not really country dependent anyways. So it's just about asking questions about you, and you tell them, and just be intentional about it, and do deep reflection, also do deep research on the program you're going for, connect the dots between who you are, what you've studied so far, what you are going to study, and your personal statement is ready. I I wouldn't lie to you, it was really difficult. So and at a point, I realized personally that I was giving low quality personal statements. Like I realized that at a point. So because yeah, generally it affected me. It affected me. That's what I can say, because I was actually submitting some minutes to the deadline, because I didn't have enough time to really work on the personal statement. So I'll just check the deadline on my Google Sheet, because I had a Google Sheet then. So I placed all those schools there. So and I put their deadlines there. So I'll just check the deadline and I'll shout, "Oh, I have a deadline today," and I'll start writing the personal statement. But while I was applying then, I knew right in my mind that some schools will not definitely, reach out to me for a scholarship, because after reading my personal statement, I was already giving myself like a no, because I was like, this is not a logical flow here. You're already shooting yourself. So yeah, it really affected. It's not easy to write, tailor-made personal statements for each school. It's really difficult. I submitted a lot of low-quality personal statements, like low quality. Like at times when I check my portfolio now, I'll just be making jest of myself that, do you even submit this? Who is going to accept this from you? So, but now I think if someone wants to, do that tailor-made, it's better not to, embark on maybe 26 or 30. So if it's 10 that you can really be very serious with, like, or maybe 5, just put in your best, that, okay, I'm very intentional about this. At a point, all of those 26 schools, it's not like, okay, maybe I was so intentional about all of those schools. So some I will just see it and I'll be like, I think I should be able to apply to this. So now just check it briefly and then just try to adjust some things in my personal statement and then just submit it. But I realized that it didn't really work well with me like that too. And yeah, this one that I finally got, I realized that I did something different, because this one I spent about 1 week writing their personal statements. About 1 week, checking it almost every day and iterating the process again so that I could improve on it. So yeah, I think the stress was actually worth it, right? So compared to the other ones that I was just, submitting randomly and hoping that miracle will just happen, and I'll get it. But for this, I think, yeah, it's all started from, getting admission. If they're coming to my school, for instance, yeah, your personal statement during admission, they may not be so rigorous with it. They may not be so strict with it. So they can offer you admission, yeah, if you are not even making so much of sense like that. But they can see your grades, they can see the courses you've done, so they can still offer you admission. But it takes an invitation to get into scholarship stage. So when I was invited for the scholarship, so I knew that okay, I needed to work. So I started reaching out to scholars in different countries. So I could remember I reached out to a scholar in Poland. So I requested that would he be willing to review my personal statements. And when I submitted to him, when he gave me back, it was as if I had not done anything. So because almost everything I wrote, it really gave me like great remark on top that you've done a great work. And it actually highlighted everything, almost everything, that look, you can rewrite this place, you can do this. And I was like, what if I had not done any great work? That means you just cancel everything. So what I'm saying in essence is that I reach out to, scholars all around the world. I was able to get 2 of them to review my essay. And then, and after that, after the essay, it was only 60 people that got qualified for my scholarship, for instance. They invited us for essay, and later on, after the essay, 20 people got qualified for the, interview, right? So, and before I went to the interview, I was very intentional again. I had to get 5 scholars from different countries. I got 3 from this school specifically, and they actually organized mock interview for me. So I had mock interview with them, and that was intentional. So I put in a lot of work there, a lot of rehearsal before the interview. So and that is what I feel that okay, it's really helped me. Coupled with the fact that they also look at grade, but then in terms of personal statements and all of those, so I think that was what I did differently. Yeah. I think it's just there are general scholarships there like OKP or Orange Knowledge Program, and then there are specific scholarships to different schools, right? So for instance, the scholarship I won is quite specific for my school, so you can't possibly get it elsewhere in the Netherlands. So because the guys that sponsor me, they are alumni, so they are few alumni of the university who are rich enough to spend a lot of money to fund students from Africa and also Southeast Asia. So I think there are specific and there are general. For Orange Knowledge, for instance, you apply for admission. Once you get admission, they invite you for scholarship. So I think on a general note, in the Netherlands, you have to first get your admission. So once you get admission, then you get special invitation. They already screen your documents and know if you are qualified for a scholarship. So they invite you to apply for the scholarship. So once they invite you, then you can prepare all your personal statements and the likes for the scholarship. So, and you apply, they get back to you at the stated timeline. So that is just it for, yeah. And it's important as well for anybody who is trying to apply to always go through the instruction, because yeah, I think at times we are always lazy to read everything like line by line. I go through everything there. So yeah, it's just about going through it. Once you discover a scholarship in Netherlands, for instance, just read it thoroughly. Is it going to be sponsored by governments? Is it going to be sponsored by alumni? Yeah, or are there organizations sponsoring this or something? And go through the stages, like what are the stages embedded in this? So everything will be clearly stated on the website. So I think, yeah, compared to, I wanted to say, I think maybe Netherlands in terms of processing visa is actually the simplest, but I wanted to say that before, but yeah, compared to Germany that I processed in 2018, I think it was quite easier than Germany, and maybe because I already had a scholarship anyways. So for scholars coming to the Netherlands, to a reasonable extent, it's easy. And yeah, although you may have a difficulty in moving to another country to submit your documents, the only difficulty there is moving to another country to submit your documents, because the Dutch embassy in Lagos does not issue long-term visa, like visa that is more than 90 days. They don't issue it in Nigeria for people above the age of 18. So if you want to get that kind of visa, you need to go to either Benin Republic or Ghana to submit your documents. So meanwhile, the school would have, once you get a scholarship in the Netherlands, so the school would have sent you all the package that you need, like the form that you're gonna use in the embassy, your admission letter, of course, and then the scholarship details. It will be there already, so you already have everything needed. So the only difficulty you are going to experience is you going to another country, right? So, but apart from that, once you enter Dutch embassy, like maybe Benin, I went to Benin Republic, for instance. So when I got there, I didn't take more than 10 minutes. It wasn't even up to 10 minutes. So I just entered, and yeah, they signaled at me that, oh, just come around, and they received my passport, my all other, application packages and all of those that I received from the school. I submitted it. They received my fingerprint, and then, yeah, that was all. Just come back in the next 2 weeks, or give us your home address, and we are going to send your visa to you. So it was that simple. So they didn't even ask any question about, okay, yeah, will you come back or not? So because they already believe that before you can get a scholarship here, you should have passed through some stages. So their own is to just receive your visa, and then that's all. Although maybe it could be different for people who came during when there was no corona, but for me, I came during corona, so, and it was very fast. Yeah, it was very fast compared to what people say about visa processing. Personally, I don't know. So I think, yeah, maybe they've had some issues in the past, which I don't know about. So yeah, maybe later on I would also find some time to, research about it. Or maybe when I meet the Netherlands ambassador, Nigeria ambassador to the Netherlands, maybe if I meet her in September, yeah, maybe I can also ask to, find out more. Like around 80% of residents in the Netherlands, they actually speak English. If you're coming for a master's degree, for instance, most of their master's degrees, they are usually taught in English. So you literally don't need English, you don't need Dutch per se to really cope well in school. So, however, if you really want to flow with their uh, day-to-day life, integrate into the system, yeah, it's quite nice to know Dutch, to understand Dutch and speak it. So, but then I didn't learn Dutch before leaving Nigeria, so I just came here and yeah, I was just focusing on my study. But at a point, I started learning Dutch, and then of course I'm going to start another intensive class next week. So I think it's just yeah for proper integration into the system, and also yeah if you intend to work here, definitely you need to understand their language. And the good thing about it is, for instance, in my school, if you want to learn Dutch, there are programs for international students to learn for free. So you can start stage 1 and stage 2 for free, and if you intend to continue, you can proceed to the advanced, intermediate, and advanced class with 90 euros per stage. So, and that's all. I think if the person is so certain that he or she is coming to the Netherlands, so it's nice to maybe start with Duolingo, right? Just start with Duolingo, just start learning Dutch in Duolingo. However, if you're considering spreading your wings and considering many other opportunities, you may not really waste your time to learn Dutch, right? While you are still struggling to get one opportunity, because eventually you may find yourself in the UK. So that means you've spent a lot of time uh, I can say you've wasted it anyways, although no knowledge is waste. Yeah, but then if you learn Dutch for a reasonable amount of time and you're not speaking it to anyone, what's the point? And another thing is, Dutch is not like one of the most spoken languages of the world, right? So if you learn it from your country and then you eventually don't find yourself here, so it may be a waste and it may decay in your memory, right? So it's not like French that is one of the languages of United Nations, right? So it's better for you if you are very certain that okay, this is where you are going to, and you are very committed to it. You apply to many schools here, and then you are you are sure to a reasonable extent that you're going to find yourself here. Then you can start learning. But if that is not the case, just keep applying to schools, and then when you get to the country, you can start taking the course. Yeah. Before any scholarship in the Netherlands, which is tagged as fully funded, before they bring any student out of their country, they always estimate the average amount that someone needs to get a visa to stay in the Netherlands. So, and then for you to stay as a student in the Netherlands, you need to have around 900 euros per month, right? So, and that means any scholarship wouldn't give you less than 900 euros per month, right? So, as allowance. So, and yeah, that is reasonable enough for a student. And then, if you're living in a city where the cost of living is not so high, so you can even save enough from it. So for instance, if you're living in Amsterdam, if you're living in Den Haag, Utrecht, so all of those cities, they are actually like expensive to live there. So you may be paying around 600 euros per month for housing. So, and that has already taken a lot from your expenses, so from your allowance. So yeah, it may be high for some cities, why it may be low for some. And concerning the opportunities, of course, I wouldn't say, our image as a country is totally, tarnished like that. So because all of these guys too, they truly believe in the potential of Africans, especially Nigerians. So they know something about Nigerians that when it comes to getting things done, we go an extra mile to get it done. So that is it, and that is what they actually want. So yeah, just get the result for them, right? Irrespective of who you have, black or dark, black or white, or long or short or something like that. So, but then I think the question is about what people really have to offer before they can get the opportunities, right? So, for instance, if you are during your study, normally the visa they are going to offer to students, that visa is not going to allow you to work. So you're not permitted to work, right? So if you want to work, you have to apply for a work permit, and that work permit can only be issued, can only be requested by the company that is willing to hire the students. So, for instance, if you get a job, as maybe a graphic designer, right? So that company needs to apply for work permit for that student before the student can work. And there is also a limitation for student during study. You can't work more than 16 hours because they see their academics here as a full-time work, right? So as a full-time, you really need to give in your best to graduate on time. Otherwise, you would have to extend your stay, and then that's going to be a lot of money. So yeah, I think it's just about what people can really offer, right? So if you truly have something to offer, you can be well, to a reasonable extent, be assured that you can get opportunities during your study, right? That you can be working maybe 16 hours per week and be getting some money there. However, some people are not even able to combine all of those because the academics is already too overwhelming for people to bear. It's unbearable for a lot of people, so they can't even combine it, so they would just prefer to focus on it. So that is just it. Just be skillful enough, and it's not just being skillful is not about, okay, maybe I should mention this. This is a developed world, right? Developed country, and some of the things that we see as big deal, it's nothing to them. For instance, if you're submitting your CV and you put it there that I can use Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, all of those things, they're just things that primary school students can use. So primary school students, high school students, they can use it very well. Even if you put it there that you can do design. Like, what kind of design can you do? Because almost all my colleagues, they are not graphic designers, and if they make designs for you, you'll be like, what? Like, it's gonna look amazing. So what I'm saying in essence is that if you consider yourself as being good at what you do, it's better for you to just see beyond your location, because everything you see as being good at, maybe people are praising you for around there, it can just be like normal thing. Yeah, like you should know how to use PowerPoint normally, so you should know how to do basic design. So people need to transcend to the level where they do high level work. So, and that is when they can really compete with opportunities here. Because one thing is, the issue is not about Nigerians, right? So the issue is not about opportunities for Nigerians now. We have several people from all over the world. Chinese guys are here, India guys are here, Portuguese, Italians, all of these guys are here. They were raised in better communities than our own, right? So, and we are going to be in the same labor market together, chasing the same opportunities, right? So the thing is, what are you going to do differently that would actually make you actually compete, like shoulder to shoulder with the Chinese who has been doing amazing stuff from the childhood? So it's not just about Nigeria now, but what can Nigerian, or you as a person, what can you offer, right? So I think, yeah, that is for when you are studying, and then it's also related to after study. Yeah, because after study, although I'm not there yet, but of course I have friends who have already graduated. After study is a little bit more tedious and more competitive for people because, and I think this is just almost the same thing around the world because the labor market is filled with several people from around the world, right? So if you're coming to a company and then you feel that, okay, you have a lot of skills, you have a lot of tech skills and all, maybe you have humanitarian skills and all, you see another person, maybe a German, who would just write it on a CV that, okay, he or she can speak like 10 languages or 5 languages, and you can only speak English. So yeah, it's at times competitive for almost everyone. But I think yeah, one of the ways in which people can just be well prepared is that, okay, try to see the industry you are going into, like when you're studying, try to take a peep into it that, okay, this is where I'm going to, and then check their requirements, how they really work there. Is it an industry where you have to know many languages? Is it an industry where you have to really know like the roots of the problem, like just know the advanced stuff? So I think if you're able to know all of those things, then you can be well prepared to integrate there, and then try to discover your competitive advantage, right? So because people are coming with a lot of ideas, great ideas, and you need to be competitive as well. So try to check for your personal competitive advantage. Maybe what you have over the other person is your ability to work with team. I think there was a time like that Harvard did not accept Chinese guys or Asians generally because they actually tagged them as they were having personality issues, kind of. So maybe your competitive advantage could be that, okay, I'm an African and I know how to bring people together well to get things done. That is your competitive advantage. So yeah, I think people should just look beyond that, be skillful enough, like be very skillful, but also look for competitive advantage. And yeah, concerning the number of years after study, if anyone has completed a study in the Netherlands, so the government would give such a graduate 1 year. It's called search year. So the essence of the search year is to look into the opportunities in the Netherlands, explore it, like go into the labor market, apply to different jobs, and then try to get one before the end of the 1 year for search year. And then if you are entrepreneurial and then you want to establish a company in the Netherlands, that 1 year is actually a good year to start it. So they have structure on ground to mentor you and all, but the idea must be worthwhile. So they can't just accept someone to establish a company in their country without having a space to fill in their economy, right? So they would rather not approve that business rather than having a business that will be so redundant in their economy. So yeah, that 1 year, if you're able to get something worthwhile that you're doing, fine. And if not, yeah, you may have to leave their country after the 1 year search year. I think that's actually a lot. If I really want to start with where I am now, so I would just advise, if anyone is trying to, if an African, yeah, is trying to, because I don't know, who is going to be watching this later on, someone in Zimbabwe, Botswana may be watching this later on. I'm talking to Africans generally. So I think, yeah, we should always, when we are going to Western world for education, we should always look beyond survivor, right? So don't plan to leave your country because you just want to survive, right? So a lot of people are studying abroad because we don't want to go back to where we are coming from, right? So that is the only motivation, and that's actually flaw vision for what we really stand for as humanity, right? So what I mean by that is, if you are scared of where you're coming from, maybe you've been living in maybe Akure. I served in Akure, Ondo State. So maybe you've been living in Akure and they give you 3 hours light per day, and you're now in Europe, you have 24 hours light, and you're scared that, I don't want to go back to Akure. So, and you're just desperate to get things like things done that wouldn't really allow you to go back to Akure. So you might just be doing, stuff that may not even, that eventually you may try to ask questions of essence that, okay, why am I even doing this? And then you may not find true essence there. So I think, people should just try as much as possible to see beyond survivor, right? So, and once we see beyond survivor, then we have open mind to even think clearly about the future. Because the thing is, there are opportunities, right? So that people can really tap into. But for Africans as, race, at times we focus on, let me say, tips of the iceberg of opportunities, right? So we we are somehow, I would say we are somehow narrow-minded in exploring some opportunities. For instance, if Asians, if they are in country, they are looking for, if they want to stay there, they are looking for how they can set up, build a product from the program they are studying, right? So if an Asian is, studying biotechnology, for instance, is already thinking about, okay, how can I build a product on metabolism? How can I build an app? He may not know how to build that app, but he can bring people together to build a app, right? So for the issue that Africans can actually have is that, we may be chasing salary after study and all of those things, and eventually it may not even be enough, right? So if you are going abroad, look beyond survivor, have open mind, be open-minded, and then think clearly, like think of different opportunities beyond, let me graduate, let me get good job, and then I'll be fine, right? So there are different opportunities, like different ones. Guys are building products, they are getting funding of close to €1 million, and we are just chasing salary. So that is one angle. So look beyond survivor, have open mind, and then explore opportunities extensively. And another one is that, I think I mentioned this earlier, try to explore different countries, because if you are waiting for the US to, give you visa, it may not come at your desired time, right? So, and then while waiting, some other things can just come up and just, shift you away, especially if you're not deeply rooted in what you stand for. So just try to explore different opportunities in different countries. And maybe I should say this as well: don't just submit application anyhow. Don't submit it anyhow, because the guys that will review your applications, they have years of experience, right? They have years of experience. Put in your best, and then always get someone to get a second eye to look at it. Get a professional who has been, reviewing essays for years or months, to just have a look at it and then put finishing touch to it. So I think those are the pieces of advice that could come to my mind now. Yeah. You're welcome, and thank you for inviting me. Yeah, so I wish your team and the members good luck with their journey. Bye.